What's up, MMA world? This is JM from MMA Comic, but there's nothing comical about this show, of course. So this show is always about analyzing mixed martial arts, analyzing MMA world, and trying to figure out who is the best, who is the worst, who should be retiring, who deserves a belt, and everything relating to MMA news. We'll be discussing them here. So please make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like, give it a thumbs up, leave your comment in the comment section, and I'll try my level best to answer each and every question that you guys have. Now, what exactly is going on in the world of MMA? A lot has been going on lately, with the biggest fight, of course, coming soon. Aljamain Sterling will be facing Petr Yan again. This is going to be one of the best fights that is going to determine who actually deserves the belt, and that is what excites me about it. You know, in their first meeting, Aljamain, got an illegal knee, which of course he should have. Disqualification was kind of allowed, if I can say, but at the same time, there's also a group of people that believe that Aljamain Sterling kind of, acted. It was like a drama. It was like theatrics. He was putting on a show when he fell down. And this is the only thing that makes me feel like Aljamain was putting on a show. Aljamain is a cool guy. His style is insane. His submission skills are out of this world. Good jiu-jitsu, striking is okay. His stand-up game is okay. But there's a time when he was giving report of what was going on, and he said that when he was on the ground, he was thinking of whether to continue or not to continue. That is not what happens if you're concussed, or if you are, if somebody really shuts your lights off with a knee, with a punch, with a kick, with an elbow, name it. That is not what happens. When you're concussed, you can't think. You can't really reason. Like your faculties leave you. So that is the only part that makes me think that Aljamain Sterling was, putting on a show, being a Hollywood actor, even though it was a well-deserved. If somebody does anything illegal, it should be stopped. It should be stopped. So, health-wise, analyzing it from health perspective, Aljamain did the right thing. You stop a fight if you don't feel like continuing. That is the best thing to do, because life comes first. Life is more important than gold. Gold, how many people live without gold? And, life still continues. So, Aljamain just did the right thing. But, let's break it down. Petr Yan has got insane skill. His boxing he's arguably one of the best boxers in MMA today, in the UFC. And, even Conor McGregor acknowledges that. That's how good Petr Yan is. Unfortunately, he's going to fight without his corner with him, but I know people like Sean O'Malley have agreed to bring him on board and train him and be in his cornerman. That's awesome. That's the kind of camaraderie that we want. That's the kind of unity that we want to see happening in the UFC. Now, how does Aljamain win? Aljamain stands a chance of winning if he, grapples. If he can grapple with Petr Yan, throw him on the ground, or just stick on his back endlessly, just like a backpack. Let him carry your weight for the 4 rounds. Then the 5th round, you stand a chance of submitting him. But that can also be crazy, because Petr Yan is not that easy of a customer that you think you can just backpack him and he'll shake you off. There's so many ways that he can reverse the position and get Aljamain Sterling in danger. And one thing that I like with Petr Yan is his kicks and sweeps, and how he throws, he trips. Him and likes of Kamzat, likes of the dude that looks like like Lincoln, President Lincoln. There's a way that they throw people on the ground that is insane. Is insane. So, you know, he can implement all those. He can just leave it as a stand-up game and still do damage to Aljamain Sterling. But this fight is going to be the biggest determinant of who actually deserves the belt. Some people, yes, agree with Aljamain that yes, he kind of deserves it. Some people go, Aljamain, Petr still deserves the belt because, you know, he was the champ. He beat Jose Aldo. He basically have run through each and every one that has been brought in front of him. And that is what makes him the best. That is what makes him, you know, deserve his position as the champ in the UFC. He's good. He's good. Super good. First round, he liked to, you know, download data. And that can always seem boring, or, you know, makes him look like he's taking way too much shots. But once he figures out his rhythm, once he knows, he calculates and finds an answer to all your problems, then you're in big problem, of course. Now, you know, other great things. So that is a fight that I'm super excited to see how it's going to turn out. I can't wait to watch it. I'll make sure that I buy, you know, all the stream. I'll make sure that I find a way to watch it, and I hope you as well. Now, excuse me. A lot of things have also been going on in the world of MMA. We saw Covington again versus Street Jesus. He calls himself Street Jesus. I don't know if he calls himself, or that was like a brand. It's something that just popped out of nowhere. People started calling Masvidal Street Jesus. Street Jesus, you know, he always takes pride in sucker punching people and you know, being there to you know, throw jabs and feast where necessary. Unfortunately, it didn't work for him this time around, which is not news anymore. But you know, I wonder sometimes why, you know, people who practice MMA, some of the most disciplined industries or you know, sports that you can ever come across, still engage in street fights, still engage in fights that don't pay. That is why I like Covington a lot in this case, because he didn't choose to fight. He only fights when he's getting paid. And street fights normally don't pay. You'll probably just be ending up in jail or in lawsuits, or, you know, people just throwing, you know, your reputation needs to be reserved. So MMA fighters, please don't make this sport look bad. You guys carry out yourself with dignity, carry yourself with honor, carry yourself with respect. Respect the sport, respect the game, respect your fellow fighters. There's no need to fight in a street or in a bar or in a steakhouse. So yeah, that was a bit embarrassing to the sport, but we hope that both of them are okay. We hope that both of them are good. And we hope to see them again. I don't know, now that I talk about it, I don't know if I want to see another round. I don't want to see them go again at it, because Covington clearly won. He won the trash talk. He won in the cage. He won in the steakhouse brawl. Like, he's good. He's that good. And, you know, one thing that a lot of people say that Covington, you know, said way too much. Covington, that is what sells, unfortunately, in the world of sports. Talking is what sells. And Covington figured it out and said, maybe I should start talking. Deep down, my heart, I believe that Covington is not like that. He's just putting on a show to get pay-per-views, to sell the game, to sell cards, and he's doing an amazing job at it. However, there's also another school of thought that believes that Covington is saying way too much when it comes to, you know, family matters. Family matters need to be left at family level, not in the octagon, not in the cage, not on social media, not. And I agree with that. I agree with that. When it comes to saying, attack your opponent, you know, but when it comes to family, please keep off. And I would like to hear your thoughts too, if you guys agree with me, if you don't agree with me, etc. So that is something that has been going on lately in the news, and what I enjoy the most is the post-fight fight, which is mostly happening on social media. If you've been following Covington and his social media post, he's constantly just throwing barrage of attacks on Street Jesus, on Masvidal, and rightfully so, because he definitely won in the cage. He definitely won the trash talk. He's winning on social media. Not that I agree with everything he says, not that I agree with everything that he does, but in this case, he's coming out as a winner. And fighting Masvidal actually gave him the biggest platform, probably of his lifetime. Even bigger than fighting Kamaru Usman. And the fact that he beat Jorge Masvidal the way he did it makes him a superstar. I won't be surprised to see him, fill stadiums and just sell everything that he can with his trash talk to make sure that he secures his spot, that he secures his location in the game. So he's doing an amazing job at that. Now, away from Covington and Masvidal, we've missed John Jones. It's MMA, and we can't talk about MMA without mentioning John Jones. John Boney Jones, the undefeated UFC champion. Is he a champion still? If you wanna believe so. He put up a statement on his social media. I mean, it's April Fool's Day, and I don't want to read way too much on it, but he said that he watched his last fight, and he believes that it was about time for him to move on to a different weight class, which I think he should have moved when he fought Dos Santos. And John Jones' comebacks have never been that great. Remember when he fought Vincent Prue, and Vincent Prue gave him some workout. And he wasn't the same John Jones that we knew was coming to destroy everyone in the category. The ruthless guy who used to choke people standing. Lyoto Machida has got an experience of that. That ruthless, ugliest, scariest, baddest John Jones is the one that we missed. Now, how is he going to do in the current weight class, in the heavyweight class, where people like Ngannou, people punch like the world is coming to an end? They hit you so hard, all you can think about is go to sleep. Well, thinking about it or not, you are going to sleep when Ngannou hits. Now, it puts us in a very interesting scenario, especially given that John Jones is no longer with his former team. He's not with his same corner. He's not with his same advisors. He's not with, he switched the game. And I want to believe that everything that he's talking about today is coming out of good leadership that he's under. I want to think so. Oftentimes the occasion when it looks like he has got a lot of yes men behind him, which could be true, but I want to think that I like the current team that he's currently working with, and if they're open with him, they should tell him to watch his tapes again, analyze them critically, and know that he nearly lost those fights. If not, he did lose those fights. But as Dana White says, John Jones always comes up with a way of winning fights. He always wins. You can be losing. He can be losing the first 2 rounds, and then he comes out with a third, puts on a show on the fourth, and the fifth, of course, his cardio always pulls through, and somehow he manages to secure his spot as the undefeated. So whatever that thing is, whatever that charm is, it's been working for him, and I think it's the best time that he moves to a different weight class. Then a lot of people have been talking about John Jones' voodoo, that, you know, you fight Jones, you're no longer the same. He fought DC, and DC, you know, DC this is kind of you know, arguably came back and became a two-champ in, you know, a champ in 2 weight classes, which was awesome. I was very happy to see DC do that. But then you look at people like Ovin St. Preux that fought John Jones. You look at somebody like the Lionheart. You know, they put on a show, but there's something about fighting Jones, as some people believe, that if you fight Jones, you're no longer going to be the same, which is super interesting. John Jones is just a normal human being with small legs and doesn't react well when they're kicked. Something that what's his name? The name is escaping me. Anyways, so Santos, for example, gave John a run for his money. Santos put on a show on him, and in my honest opinion, I think Santos won. But then look at what Santos has become lately. I don't want to blame it on fighting Jones. It could be. There could be a possibility that he fought Jones, and Jones probably wrecked all his tendons and muscles and everything that goes into, you know, making your body function the way it is. That could be. But I look at, you know, people Jones has fought in the recent past, and they're no longer the same. Performance output is kind of dwindling, if I can say, which is not good. Makes us think that Jones is untouchable, and I'm not sure if I buy that. That belief. I don't know if I buy that belief at all. John Dwight Jones. He's fought you know, some of the baddest in the industry for sure. But I still don't buy that hype that if you fight Jones, you know, you're no longer the same. Of course, with 26 fights, which he won all of them by scorecard. I don't know how some of them happened, but that is what the scorecard says. You know, Dominic Reyes, he fought Dominic Reyes, and Dominic Reyes went on a losing streak like the world is coming to an end. Thiago Santos, he fought, and Thiago Santos has been doing pretty bad lately. Alexander Gustafsson, Goose, he beat Goose twice. The first one is debatable, of course, and then they met again, and he put on a show on Gustafsson. Daniel Cormier, DC, probably the one who fought Jones, lost twice, went and still proved that you know, you can still fight Jones and become a champ. So congratulations to DC. I like DC. Glover Teixeira, the current champ. You know, Jones terrorized that weight class. He terrorized everyone who you know, UFC put in front of him. Now, how does John Jones beat somebody like Ngannou? You know, Stipe. Those are the baddest in the heavyweight class. And by the way, quick recovery to Ngannou with his knee surgery that he just had. Looks like he's improving very well. Ngannou, we love you. We wish that you will step in the cage again and give us a show. Quick recovery, and be blessed, brother. Be blessed wherever place you are now. Know that MMA Comic is wishing you all the best. Now, one challenge when John fights Ngannou, and this is what scares me the most with this fight, is the oblique kicks, and the fact that Jones can throw them a mile away. You know, is super interesting, and it would be interesting to see how that matches up with with Ngannou's skills and punching. Ngannou, of course, has improved in wrestling. He's worked with Kamaru Usman, who trained him for his Stipe fight, for his when he was defending his belt, and we saw a different Ngannou. We saw Ngannou who could wrestle. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Ngannou could wrestle? So that was super impressive, very impressive. For Ngannou, someone who is known as a power puncher, to change the game and get into wrestling and defend takedowns, and even have his own takedowns. Something that he had never had in MMA before. So that was super interesting. Well, John Jones, of course, we know him as a wrestler, but when have we seen Jones really take someone down and put on a beating for them? Not in the recent past, something that I can easily recall. And Jones has been taken down by an unwrestler. Stephen Gustafsson, I think, was the first one to take Jones down. So this presents a very unique situations for Jones and for Ngannou too. Ngannou known for his punching power, Jones known for his wrestling, spinning stuff, oblique kicks that he can throw all day, damage people's stance with that. And if Jones fights Ngannou after this surgery, oh man, I'm scared of Ngannou's knee. That knee will probably be torn like really bad. I don't want this to happen to Ngannou. I wish Ngannou all the best. I think he's one of the coolest dude, one of the realest in the sport. And even when he fought Gane, Gane is one of the baddest, the biggest and the baddest in the game, and he put on a show again. And he wrestled him. That oblique kick is probably one of the biggest worry that I'm having for Ngannou at present. But how does Jones really match with heavyweights? I'm thinking about somebody like Stipe. How does Jones beat Stipe? Let's start with the reach advantage. Probably goes to Jones, but Jones has struggled with big men. That's a given. Anybody who is bigger, anybody who is in his actual weight class, height-wise, always seems to be having a problem with those kinds of people. If we look at his fight with Dominic Reyes is a big boy. Dominic Reyes is built like a tank, and he gave John Jones tough problems. Thiago Santos also, Mareta, he's a tough big dude, gave Jones problems. If you look at Anthony Smith, that one was I would say a lackluster fight, but John Jones still won that. Alexander Gustafsson gave Jones problems. Even OSP, when he came back after his suspension, gave Jones tough time. So yeah, I'm interested to see how he's gonna do in the heavyweights. I think he should first get tune-up fights, because he's been out of the game for almost 2 years, almost 2.5 years. So would be good for UFC to give him tune-up games. Fight somebody who is definitely a top 10. I think he deserves to fight someone in the top 10, probably even a top 5. But he should also know that he's going against killers. One thing that John is good at is head movements, and he can bob and weave, but he's no not Michael Jackson, but Mike Tyson. He's no Mike Tyson, the master of weaving and bobbing and weaving and bobbing and weaving and bobbing. He's good at it, but I don't think he's at that level where if a heavyweight punch lands on him that he's not gonna go to sleep. Not that we know that John has gone to sleep. He was blessed with a chin. He was blessed with with a body. He was blessed with skills and talent. And on top of those talents, he also worked hard. To maintain that kind of pace. So that way he's okay. That way he's good. His cardio is probably one of the best in heavyweight as at now. But we've never seen him really do anything crazy, fight at this weight class. So it's gonna be super interesting to see him, fight at this weight class. Some other things that have been going on in the industry, there's Thug Rose defended her belt. That was a while ago. Came back and put on a show and won. So way to go, Thug Rose. We also saw people like Modafferi, leaving the game, and sorry, not Modafferi, but Rosiana. Rosiana, when she left the game and retired. Good for her. I like when sportsmen retire at their prime, almost at their prime. Not almost at their prime, but or shortly after their prime, because there's nothing else to prove. People like Khabib did it. People like the Canadian mixed martial artist George St. Pierre did it. Retiring early is good for your body, for your family, for the sport. Live a honorable man, just as you came honorable man. That is what I like to say. I mean, you don't want to stick way too long where, and new skills that are coming, new kids that are coming, they're coming with crazy, insane styles. So it's better off if one leaves just after your prime, or right when you're still in your prime, because health comes first. This is not an easy sport. This is a tough sport. So just a piece of advice to all my MMA fighters out there. Very interesting situations that we've seen happening in the world of MMA. Now, when we talk about trash talk, there's a lot of trash talk that has been going on also in this sport. Conor McGregor basically attacking everyone because he can, so he does it. He's been going back and forth with Usman, and I listened to one of the interviews that Usman did with Joe Rogan, and Usman was saying that what I can do to Conor McGregor is worse than what Khabib did to him. And I was like, whoa, hold it, boy. Do you know who you're talking about? This is Conor McGregor. I mean, not that it is impossible. We've seen Conor being dropped. Khabib dropped him. The hot sauce man dropped him. I call him the hot sauce man. That's pretty interesting. I mean, that's his business. He's selling hot sauce. So yeah, the hot sauce man dropped him, and so his chin has probably deteriorated over time. But he's still good. Now, if he can put on a show the way he did against if Kamaru Usman can put on a show the same way he did with Covington, then there could be a chance that he can beat Conor McGregor. Just wrestle him. Don't give him time. Wrestle him, throw him down, let him use a lot of energy. As soon as he wants to start getting back up, throw him again on the ground and just make it a hopeless fight for him. Then he can win. But we also know Kamaru Usman that the first round he's not very active. And I don't know if it is reading his opponent or downloading data, but he also admits that he's slow when he starts. That he starts slowly and then picks the pace as the fight goes on. Well, he's blessed with cardio. Conor McGregor, yeah, cardio is sometimes a problem. But you know, it's that's just how the nature of the beast. That's just how the sport is. You can't win. There's always one weakness. There's always that Achilles spot that each and every fighter has. So cardio is corners, and corners seem to be getting tired way too much, or way quicker than most of the fighters. I mean, look at how he did against Nate Diaz one. Look at how he did against Khabib. Well, Khabib is a beast. Khabib is an animal. We can't really, when it comes to cardio, I think it would be unfair to compare the two. So, yeah, when it comes to cardio, I think Khabib is at a whole new level. And the same is what I'm thinking could happen with Kamaru Usman. Usman has got good good jabs. He's got good jabs, but Conor has got good left hand. That hook always lands. That hook always lands. If you throw it as an uppercut, and Usman is probably known for not defending his uppercuts very well. He normally just stands there and takes them. Gets wobbled every now and then. But I don't know if Conor lands 5 of those really hard, or throughout the fight, it will start wearing him out, and that's probably the best time that Kamaru Usman should probably bring it on the ground. So a lot of things, a lot of trash talk that are hopefully going to give us good, amazing fights in the future. I'm excited to see the fights. Then let's call it a podcast. I would like to hear your thoughts. I would like to hear if there's a fight that you'd like me to break down, analyze. I'll be excited and interested in doing so. So please give a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that bell, and let me know how or which fights you'd like me to break down, because that is also something that I like to do when I'm not just doing podcast. So remember, it is JM from MMA Comic, and this has been our first episode breaking down fights and talking about MMA. Till next time, guys. Thank you.